Thank you, Alaska and Corlin. Taoiseach, as you know, on May the 15th, Minister Shatter received a report from the Garda Commissioner in relation to allegations that were made concerning the improper cancellation of fixed charges notices. That report found no evidence of criminality in that area. But on prime time after that, in a debate with Deputy McWallace, and even though he was armed with the facts of the report, Minister Shatter decided to use private information supplied to him by An Garda Síochána about Deputy Wallace in an attempt to undermine him in a political debate on the issue. But fundamentally, Taoiseach, this action represents an abuse of power, an abuse of office, and of the office that the Minister holds. The Minister for Justice, the position of the Minister for Justice is a very powerful one. It's a very sensitive one. And as the Data Protection Commissioner said, there's a solemn duty on behalf of such a minister, indeed all ministers, to hold such information that they receive privately with the greatest of respect and to treat it properly and honourably. Now, the use of this private information about a Dáil deputy to undermine him in a debate is fundamentally wrong, Taoiseach. I think it does represent the politicisation of An Garda Síochána, which in itself is also reprehensible. He has crossed the line, Minister Shatter has, and I think he's shown contempt for democratic norms. He himself set very rigorous standards in this area, publicly, some years back, when he said such behaviour in disclosing Garda information publicly. He said such conduct is entirely unacceptable by any minister or any government, in any government. I think, Taoiseach, you've compounded the situation by endorsing Minister Shatter's misbehaviour. And there seems to be a reluctance, either on your behalf or on the Minister's behalf, to accept that what he did was wrong. And he doesn't seem to get the core of the issue here.
Thank you, Deputy.
So I would ask you, Taoiseach, can you outline to the House how this private information about an incident that occurred, by the way, over 12 months ago, found its way to the Minister last week? Are there files in existence on which such information is kept and stored for use eventually? And would you accept, Taoiseach, that Minister Shatter, the use of private information by Minister Shatter supplied to him by Garda Síochána to undermine a political opponent was wrong? Would you accept it was wrong?
Thank you. Taoiseach.
Well, first of all, I'd say it was the Minister and the Government decided that there should be a full and thorough and comprehensive analysis of the question of fixed penalty charges. And that report was brought before Government, together with appendices. The report was sent to the Garda Inspectorate. The report was sent in unredacted form to the Oireachtas Committee, together with the appendices in unredacted form, which allows for the Oireachtas Committee to do as it wishes with the information and who it wishes to call before it. I don't agree with you that that Minister Shatter wished to undermine Deputy Wallace, who's present in the House here. Minister Shatter didn't actually say that anything that Mr. Deputy Wallace did was wrong. I'd contest this with you in that what he wished to undermine was the argument being put forward by Deputy Wallace. And the argument being put forward by the Deputy was that there should not be discretion applied after fixed penalty charges would have issued. And in the context of the information that was made available as part of a general briefing about the background and the reports on the fixed penalty charges, the Minister made that information available publicly. And it wasn't a case of wanting to undermine Deputy Wallace, who's elected the same as anybody else, but it was clearly to undermine Deputy Wallace's argument, because the Deputy's argument was for no discretion when actually it had been applied in his own individual case. Now, this will be the subject of statements this evening and questions and answers by the Minister for Justice. And anybody who wishes to ask a question in that regard or about the relevance of the information put as part of the background to the comprehensive report by the Minister will be entitled to do so.
Thank you. Supplementary question, Deputy Micheál Martin.
Listen, the point
Supplementary.
And the debate later today issue specifically. And by the way, I didn't say he said that Minister Wallace or that Deputy Wallace did anything wrong. I didn't say that at all, Taoiseach. You're a great man for answering questions that were never asked and making points about points that were never made. I didn't say that at all. Neither did Deputy Wallace say there should never be discretion used, by the way. Deputy Wallace never said that. He never said that there should never be discretion used. The point is, the information was private information. It was supplied to Minister Shatter by the Gardaí, and it was used in a debate to undermine a political opponent. And it had sort of background, sort of threatening innuendo that if you question us too much, we'll get you. That was the import, really, of what he was saying. And that's what's distasteful about it, Taoiseach. Don't push this one too far, Deputy Wallace, you know, because we have information. It was private information supplied by the Garda Síochána, by Minister Shatter's own standards. He said that kind of behaviour, making that public to undermine a political opponent, he said it was unacceptable. Utterly unacceptable for any minister to do that in any government.
Thank you, Deputy.
Taoiseach. And Taoiseach, you didn't ask the question that I asked you. Do you believe it's appropriate behaviour? Do you believe it's right for a minister to reveal private information? Data protection officers confirmed this. Do you believe it's right, Taoiseach, that that private information should be made public in the context of a debate to undermine a political opponent? Is that behaviour by a Minister for Justice right or wrong? And could you answer that question for me?
Taoiseach.
What you said in your previous question was that this was an attempt by Minister Shatter to undermine Deputy Wallace. I've made the point to you that the information that was given as part of the general briefing about the fixed penalty charges was relevant to the argument being put forward by Minister Wallace. And in that context, the information made available by Minister Shatter was important to point out the difference between what the Deputy was saying about fixed penalty charges and it being applied to himself. And I'm glad that Deputy Wallace cleared that matter up, that it had taken place. The position is that, as I said, the Minister for Justice will answer all questions in the House today and at the committee about the briefing that was given in the general sense about the fixed penalty charges. And it's outrageous for you to make a claim here, or an insinuation, that the Minister for Justice is going around collecting files on individuals or members of this House of all parties or none. That's an outrageous claim for you as leader of the Fianna Fáil party to make. We had a situation in this House before. Well, let's never forget the past here, Deputy Martin, when we had all the minister beside me, who was then the Minister for Justice, had to intervene when conversations were being listened to in respect of the business of the House here. The situation is that the information, Deputy Martin, was relevant to the argument being made by Deputy Wallace.
Deputy, I know, Deputy. Yeah, no, Deputy, please. Deputy. No, please, Deputy Martin. We have to move on to the next person.
And you cannot stand up and say whether it's right or wrong for a government Minister for Justice to use private information given to by Garda Síochána to undermine the political opponent. That's the level you're at now.
Deputy Jerry Adams. On top Jerry Adams now. Please.